Hey everyone, how do you say it? Disney or Disney? IKEA or IKEA? Not sure? Don't worry. Today we'll delve into the world of 33 famous brand names, and I will explain to you how to pronounce each of them correctly in English. Your task is simple. You will see the name of a brand and try to guess how to pronounce it the right way. You will have 5 seconds to think. I will provide the correct answer and a short comment on each one right after. Without further ado, let's begin working on your pronunciation skills. And the first brand name for today is the following. Take a moment to think. I know that a lot of non-native speakers pronounce it as Samsung. However, that's not correct. The stress in this word should fall on the first syllable, and the second part of the word should be pronounced as sung, not sung. The right pronunciation of this South Korean brand is Samsung. Remember it.
Did you pull this off? I'll take care of your little Samsung.
All the companies like Samsung and Apple, they're innovating, making new stuff.
So a guy like Jay-Z comes out with an album through Samsung.
Next up, do you know how to pronounce this Japanese brand? Many non-native speakers tend to pronounce this word as Toshiba. However, in English, the stress should fall on the second syllable, and it should be pronounced as Toshiba. Be careful.
He offered me 2/3 less than a Toshiba DVD player.
What's good for Toshiba is good for the world.
Moving on to our next Japanese brand name. Take a moment to think. You probably pronounce this word as Nikon. In fact, you are correct. Nikon is a proper way to say it. However, in the USA, people tend to say Nikon. So both options are correct.
Digital cameras. So you saw the Nikon and the Canons and so on and so forth.
Makes a Nikon look like a disposable.
The next brand name comes from China. Can you guess how to pronounce it correctly? Throughout my experience, I have heard different ways of saying this word. Even native speakers mispronounce it and say Xiaomi, Xiaomi, and so on. The correct way to say it is Xiaomi. The stress should fall on the first syllable. It's Xiaomi.
It's not Xiaomi, it's Xiaomi. Xiaomi is a brand of Chinese phone. It's called Xiaomi.
So it's pronounced Xiaomi. Xiaomi.
Now let's take a moment to think about pronouncing this high-tech Chinese brand. I know that many of you say this one as Huawei. However, English natives don't say it this way. In English, the H becomes silent, so it should be pronounced as Huawei. However, more and more people tend to pronounce this brand as Huawei, so both pronunciations are correct.
And then look at the Chinese company called Huawei.
Together it's pronounced Huawei, as in Huawei. Pretty simple, right?
Next up, another Chinese brand. Can you guess how to say it? This brand name comes from the name of the folktale Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. So, this brand is pronounced exactly the same way, Alibaba.
We are going shopping again. We are on Alibaba.com.
In today's video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about buying from a supplier on Alibaba, as well as the process.
Now let's switch from Asian brands to American ones. Do you know how to pronounce this brand? I know it might be tempting to say Adobe. However, the only correct pronunciation of this word is Adobe. Don't forget about the E at the end, which should be pronounced Adobe.
In Microsoft Office, in Adobe Acrobat, for PDFs.
And Pedro is working on an Adobe.
The next one may seem very simple to pronounce, but let's still check if you can say this one correctly. You'll be surprised how many people mispronounce this word by saying Instagram. Remember, the stress in this word should fall on the first syllable, so the correct pronunciation will be Instagram, not Instagram, but Instagram.
I saw all your pictures on Instagram and you look like you're having so much fun and...
Okay, let me Instagram this.
Moving on, can you pronounce the following word correctly? I bet many of you don't have much trouble with this one. The correct way to say it is Amazon. Pay attention, the stress here is on the first syllable. It's not Amazon, it is Amazon. Be careful.
Have the receipt from Amazon to prove it.
It's on Amazon, both hard copy and ebook.
Rainbow Land is now number 6 on Amazon.com.
What about this one? Do you know how to say it correctly? If you think the right way to pronounce it is Android, you are wrong. The stress in this word should be on the first syllable, so the right way to say it is Android.
Android, technically.
Oh yes, the Android.
You never said anything about an Android being on board. Why not?
Another high-tech brand name is the following. Take a moment to think. This word causes a lot of problems among non-native speakers because the first letter is X, so they think it should be pronounced as Xerox. However, that's not correct. The right way to say this word is Xerox, as if the first letter is Z.
No, it used to be about manufacturing parts for Xerox machines.
The Xerox has been mended.
We object to the admission of a Xerox photocopy.
Let's carry on. How do you pronounce this one? I hope for most of you it's a piece of cake. The right way to say this one is Burger King. Don't say Burger King. It should be Burger King. Be careful.
No, it's a Burger King in Times Square.
Well, does your trailer always smell like the Burger King himself?
A Burger King toy?
The next popular brand is the following. Take a moment to think. From my years of experience, many non-native speakers tend to pronounce this word as sneakers. However, sneakers are sports shoes. In this word, the middle sound should be short, like in the word it. So it's not sneakers, it is Snickers.
Well, look, bring me back some Skittles.
And Snickers.
Can you believe they charge $5 for a Snickers?
Next up, can you pronounce this brand correctly? I know it might be tempting to say Disney, since this is probably the way you pronounce it in your native language. However, in English we say it as Disney, as if there is a letter Z in the middle. Disney is the only right way to pronounce this word.
I look like a Disney character.
Even trips to Disney World, which is right down the road.
Let's carry on. What about this one? Take a moment to think. Many non-native speakers tend to pronounce this word as Levis. However, that's not correct. The only right way to pronounce this word is Levi's. Just remember it.
We're not trying on Levi's here, Colonel.
Like torn Levi's or law school for you.
Next brand. How do you pronounce it? There is nothing wrong if you pronounce this word as Nike. Some native speakers say it this way. However, the most popular way to pronounce it is Nike.
Where do I buy the Nike shoes?
As you can tell from these movies, the chances of a Nike contract in your future are slim.
Another sports brand for today is the German one. Do you know how to say it correctly? Some non-native speakers tend to stress the last syllable in this word and say Adidas. However, that's not correct. The stress in this word should fall on either the first or second syllable, so it should be pronounced in two ways, Adidas or Adidas. Both options are correct.
They're like Adidas.
Who's Adidas?
Oh, I got it. The Tim Duncan Adidas Cool-Ds.
Now let's see if you know how to pronounce this Swedish brand. I know that many non-native speakers say it as IKEA. However, in English we say IKEA. Be careful.
What'd he say?
He said IKEA is Swedish.
That's chill. It's fine. Where we going? IKEA? Home Depot?
The lamp we bought at IKEA together.
The next brand is Danish. Can you try to say it correctly? The pronunciation of this word is relatively simple. However, you'll be surprised how many students mispronounce this word saying Lego. The right way to pronounce this word is Lego, not Lego or Lego. It's Lego.
Sort of like how you feel about your Lego pirate ship.
You've been training for this since you were saving Lego people from Lego fires.
Kind of like Lego, on, off.
The next one is a French brand. Take a moment to think. I hope you got it and know that since it's a French word, it should be pronounced in a French way, and the right way to say it is Chanel. Don't say channel. It is Chanel.
A backpack and a journal and a few nice pieces of Chanel, write poetry.
You wore Chanel in that awful black hat.
And now it's time to talk about car brands. Let's start with Italian ones. Do you know how to say this brand correctly? The correct way to pronounce this word is Lamborghini. It's not Lamborghini as many non-native speakers think. Lamborghini is how it should be pronounced. However, some teenagers tend to say Lambo. This is also a correct way to say this brand.
And finally, the Lamborghini Urus merges the soul of a sports car.
Too bitter no, he's picking up his Lamborghini.
Dude, you were right. That Lambo was...
Just can't hear that right.
And the next Italian car brand is the following. Can you guess the right way to pronounce it? The problem with the pronunciation of this word often lies in saying the letter S. In this word, it should be pronounced as Z. So the correct way to say this word is Maserati, not Maserati. Be careful.
Larry Wildman going off a cliff in my new Maserati.
Keys to the Maserati.
Well, you know, a Maserati needs much more pampering than a Toyota.
Let's move on. Let's guess how to say this French car brand. Many non-native speakers tend to say it as Citroen, putting the stress on the last syllable. However, in English, the stress falls on the first syllable. Moreover, in English there are only two syllables, so the correct pronunciation is Citroen. Be careful.
It was a cream and blue Citroen with a Paris registration.
6 months ago, he was a foreman on the shop floor at Citroen.
He reckons a Citroen Light 15 traction of Von.
Another French brand is the following. Can you give it a try? The pronunciation of this word is very similar to the French way to say it. The stress should fall on the second syllable. So, in English, it should be pronounced as Peugeot.
A Peugeot convertible.
What color?
I can't understand you. I'm a little drunk. I can't. What is this, an old Peugeot? I have a...
The next brand comes from South Korea. Do you know how to pronounce it? I'm sure you won't have much trouble with this one. The right way to say it is Kia.
But you're forgetting the wind, the weight of the Kia.
Ross has a Kia Rondo.
Moving on. Here's another Korean brand. Can you guess how to pronounce it? This one deserves our special attention because up until December 2022, people in English-speaking countries pronounced it as Hyundai. However, the managing director of this company changed the way it should be pronounced in English. So now the correct way to say this brand is Hyundai. Be careful.
Hyundai.
Oh, it's Hyundai, by the way.
Hyundai.
Now, let's switch to German cars. Can you say this brand correctly? Throughout my years of experience, I've heard various ways of pronouncing this word by non-native speakers. However, the only right way to pronounce it in English is Mercedes. Remember, it's not Mercedes, it's Mercedes.
Hey, Phil, look, I don't think Doug would want us to take the Mercedes.
I want an Aston Martin or one of those vintage convertible Mercedes.
Next up, can you pronounce this brand correctly? According to the rules, this combination of letters in English should be pronounced as either or o. However, since this is a German word, we adopted the way it's pronounced in German. So the correct way to say it is Audi.
And the Audi, it's more practical.
He's in the black Audi.
So what about the Audi?
Now, how about this German brand? How should it be pronounced? Although in German it is pronounced as Volkswagen, in English we say Volkswagen. So the correct way to pronounce it is Volkswagen.
Volkswagen!
What? Like the back of a Volkswagen?
Now let's talk about Japanese car makers. Do you know how to say this name correctly? Many non-native speakers tend to stress the second syllable and say Subaru. However, the stressed syllable in this word is the first one, so it should be pronounced as Subaru.
But guess what? Guess who's got the Subaru Impreza? Me. Hey, dude, but you don't need a Subaru. What you need is...
The next Japanese brand is the following. Take a moment to think. And the right pronunciation of this brand is Mitsubishi. I am sure most of you got this one right.
Gal found out we're also talking to Mitsubishi.
I got China investment and Mitsubishi kicking my tires.
Now, what about this American brand? Some of you might think that the right way to pronounce this word is Chevrolet. However, the ending of this word is pronounced as lay, so the correct pronunciation of this one is Chevrolet. Be careful.
A Chevrolet, for example?
1960 Chevrolet, blue and white.
And the last brand for today is another American car maker. Can you give it a try? This word is a bit tricky. The thing is that the second L in this word is silent, so the correct pronunciation of this one is Lincoln. Just remember it.
And my Lincoln.
I drive a Lincoln Continental and I park it in my 3-car garage next to my Cadillac and my Mercedes.
Great job on taking on the challenge of improving your English pronunciation. If you got all these words right, you're at an advanced level or really close to it. Give yourself a pat on the back. Don't forget to watch our other videos to improve your English skills. Keep practicing and you'll become a pro in no time. And feel free to share your ideas about this and our other videos in the comments so we can create better content for you. Thanks for being here today. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel for more exciting language videos. Keep learning and shine bright.
Like a diamond.